I wanted to talk about, George, was the 2012 Seahawks. Very random, I know. But I saw this graphic on social media. And we went 8-0 at home that year, which I think we did for 2 years straight, right?
I believe so.
But that 2012, there's my graphic. I'm going to read you these games. The Seahawks, this was one of the more dominating teams I've ever seen, bro, at home. They beat the Cowboys 27-7, the Packers 14-12, the Patriots, we know those teams were all good at this point. 24-23, the Vikings 30-20, the Jets 28-7, the Cardinals 58-0, 58-0, the 49ers 42-13, and then the Rams 20-13. That was one of, do you remember those crowds, how loud they were? And do you remember like that 2012, there was never a fucking game where I wasn't 100% sure when it was at home. I was like, oh, the Seahawks are winning. Like, there was that 2-year stretch where I think they went like 16-0.
They had that other stretch too. I think it was the year they went to the Super Bowl the first time with Mike Holmgren too. That 2006, 7. I forget the exact year. That team, same thing. Like those two crowds. Our crowds were fantastic, still are. But from 2006 to like 2017, the run was just. I mean, that's crowd's electric.
It's insane. Like that crowd was electric. The way the teams played, just like with. Because it does get loud when the team's winning and winning big like that. It gets loud there, and it's a pretty unstoppable force. I mean, there's a reason they've said like Vegas accounts for that. Like, there's a reason. It's not a, I don't know. It's not a Arizona Cardinals game, right?
Sure.
It's pretty amazing.
But no, they're just fantastic, man. Like the crowd, and still is till today. Like I still think we have one of the best crowds in all the NFL till now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're the best crowd in the NFL because I feel like there's some that might be a little more loyal, given like the Bills, the Steelers, for example. But like, for example, on this Sunday, George, I felt a little different buzz against the Jets, especially at the beginning of the game. Once we kind of like had them in our wings, it always gets quieter when a team's up by 15, 20. But that first couple possessions, I felt the loudness on the TV again for the first time in a while. I felt that like playoff atmosphere, the crowd's making a big difference. Mike White was like pointing at his ears multiple times because he couldn't hear it. You could feel it, and it was cool to see because you're like, this team really is like in the playoff race, which is cool, and this crowd's engaged.
Very engaging. That's a nice thing about our crowds in general, I would say. I mean, it seems like football in general in Seattle area has done a good job with that. I mean, the Washington Huskies 1990s crowd, they were known as like the loudest stadium in all of sports. Yeah, I guess I think Seattle deep down is a very good football city that really likes to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, even though it doesn't really get it's not like known as like a football city. You know what I mean?
Right.
It kind of is. It's interesting, but maybe it's also because there's been a lot of good football.
True.
There's been Super Bowl. There's been national championships. Like maybe it's a better baseball city, but fuck would we know because they've never even made it to a World Series.
Right. Yeah. But no, in general, I think our crowds have always been good. Like even when the Mariners were good, they used to sell out every single game, and they're known as one of the loudest crowds. So I think in general, like when the teams are good, our city does show up and support in the best way possible.
But Seattle does have a little bit of a bandwagony. There's obviously like any other culture. There's people like me and you, and some people that are probably listening to this podcast that are diehard no matter what. But I mean, I have my own friends that admit it. Like when the Mariners aren't good, they don't go to the games, right?
Exactly.
We've seen the attendance be bad until last year when it started filling up every single game. We all see that top right corner at Mariners games, that empty section that doesn't go empty in Boston, right?
It might. I mean, if they have lost for 10 years in a row, they might.
No, but I'm saying in general, it doesn't.
In general, no, but
because they haven't had to experience that. But like the Mariners can become bandwagony because we haven't really had a consistent run of great play in the last 20 years. So it's hard to know how committed everyone is. It's tough. Yeah. And I don't blame fans either because you don't want to go to a game when the baseball team's 30-52.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go either. That's not very fun.
No, totally not.